My thought process when I see modern women.
Are you dressed like this for yourself, or is it because you want guys to hit on you?
For myself and for guys to hit on me, because it is a loaded question, but it's both, because I dress like this because it makes me feel good and I feel like I look good for me, and I want to look good for, to get a guy's attention. Sure, why not? Who doesn't like attention?
Is that also why you got your nipples pierced?
I got my nipples pierced because this is America.
Well, why are you covering them up now? Like, I put you on the spot, you come out here with your tummy out, your nipples pierced, then he's just gonna see it.
No. Is your dick pierced?
Do you want to find out?
Maybe.
How much do you think you could handle?
This guy.
Okay. So, what a great video. So obviously, like, that's a decent answer as far as the truth is concerned. She actually told the truth, and I appreciate that. She said, I do it for myself and because I like attention and because I want guys to look at me. That's the truth. So she told the truth, which is commendable, because most modern women will not tell the truth. They'll skirt around it. They'll find, because they're always trying to keep their value high as much as they can, for the most part. But I will say, in the last few years, 3 to 5 years, I've seen a lot of these type of videos, these street interview videos, where women are telling the truth more and more, and it's a weird thing. It's like, whoa. Because I remember, man, from even the 90s on up to the late 20 teens, or whatever you call it, 2018, 19, 20, women were just very subtle. Women were just very, very deceptive, and they moved very, in pocket. They moved very, very slyly. And I've said it in the past. I've always said that women will purposely lie and purposely move like that to cover up their dirty deeds, and that's smart. But ironically, what I've seen in the last 3 to 5 years, a lot, is women just being truthful and just being straight up and just being transparent. And I've complained in the past that women are never transparent, but they have been in the last 3 to 5 years. I've noticed. I don't know what it is in the water, what it is in the culture, but they don't care anymore. They really don't care anymore, and it could be because just worldwide acceptance of thoughting behavior, worldwide acceptance of immoral behavior. It's getting worse and worse out there, in the sense that it's just in your face and it's blatant. A lot of our and that's a bad thing. A lot of our traditional values, are eroded. They're becoming just less and less viewed as important. Now they just don't care. They don't care anymore. And it's like, if you think about it, why would they have to care? They don't need to care. It's all a joke to them. The internet is just this place that they don't even care if people see it. This woman out here, her parents could see this. Her future husband could see this. Look at them laughing. They don't care. Again, I commend her on telling the truth, because that was a good answer. She was just honest and upfront, and she just said, I do it for myself. And that makes sense. Yeah, even a guy will do that. A guy will dress up for himself, and because he also wants to impress other people. And that's a good answer. That's fine. I'm fine with that answer. But it doesn't mean I'm fine with the behavior. It doesn't mean I'm okay with this woman who has her nipples pierced, which is highly sexual, highly immoral, flaunting that for everybody to see. First of all, there's children around. I'm sure she's out here at a mall or a theater or something. There's children, I'm sure, around, which is lewd. Okay, it's borderline public, public showing yourself. I forget the word for it, but you know what I mean. You're flaunting your private parts in public, right? And women, I've seen some just horrible women, clothing that women wear, super short shorts that are almost like bikinis in a way, and women just wearing that to the mall. Okay, it's a hot day, that's fine, but you're doing that because you're sexualizing yourself. You're doing that because you want to get looked at. And so she admitted it. which is good. That I mean, that's good that she's honest about it, but it's bad why she's admitting it. She's admitting it because she has no shame. She's admitting it because she has no consequences. She doesn't care about anything. She's probably 22 years old, 23 maybe. Doesn't care about anything. All she cares about is I want that attention. I don't care if I'm immoral. I don't care if kids look at me. I don't care if people judge me. I don't care anymore. And we live in a world where probably she won't even be judged anymore. It's all about, she just wants that thirst trap. She wants that validation. She wants the guys, oh man, I would. And this is what women want. This is why they wear makeup and do all this just to go out to the store or go to the mall or go shopping, because they want to get looked at. They want that validation. They can tell when guys are looking at them. They can tell when guys are like, dang, I want to have sex with that girl. And it's an ego thing. It's all about the ego. And if you think about it, it's like, what is that even? Like you live for these little hits of dopamine from your ego because guys want to sleep with you. Like, what kind of life is that? What kind of now it's like, objectively speaking, like, sure, that sounds kind of cool. Like, if I could just walk outside and all the women want to have sex with me, there's something like, whoa, that's intriguing. That would be awesome if, like, I just walked outside and every woman was looking at me and wanting to have sex with me, and women would come up and hit on me. Like, objectively speaking, that sounds pretty cool. But if you really look at it from the angle of, like, okay, sex is fun, it's hot, whatever, but you're supposed to be a mother at some point, right? You're supposed to be, and this is what happens when feminism tells the young women that they can do what they want with their body, which they can, but that what feminism doesn't tell them is that the consequences. What feminism doesn't tell them is that the more you sleep around, the more damaged you'll be emotionally and psychologically, the less you'll be able to pair bond, the less quality person you are. You won't have morals. You won't be able to raise children correctly. Now, if you don't ever want to raise children and you just don't give a crap about morals and you don't give a crap about family or any kind of traditional values, and you just want to go be a hoe, like, all right, that's the choice. That's the choice that you made, But it's like a lot. What we see. This is the beginning. This is the early 20s for these women. So she's in her little fun mode. But the thing is I guarantee I can see it in her face. I can see it, and I see it in society. I see so many women out here. They want to have their cake and eat it too. So she wants to have her fun. She's in her fun era. She's in her fun mode for the next probably 5 years, maybe 10 years. Who knows? Maybe she might turn that into a career in porn or OnlyFans and try to get rich off of it. Some women don't want kids, but most women in the back, and most people in general, want love. They want marriage. They want a significant other at some point. There is such a thing as getting so damaged by promiscuity that you're never able to really have a quality relationship. That happens. Also, women hit the wall. It's a big thing. They hit the wall. So eventually she's going to wake up 29, 30, 31, 32. When she's in her epiphany phase, her looks are starting to fade. She had a bunch of bad relationships. Maybe she developed an alcohol problem. Maybe she started smoking to deal with stress or something or whatever. Because a lot of times these women get into these hookup relationships and then they start catching feelings for the guy. They hook up with the guy and then they start catching feelings for him. And then what happens is, like, the guy, he just wanted sex and he got what he wanted from you, and now all of a sudden you got feelings for the guy, and it's a problem because now your emotions are involved, which is going to damage you because he's probably not going to want to date you because he got what he wanted from you. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? So he got what he wanted from you. He's going to move on. Here you are left with your shattered emotions. This is what happens with these women, and they don't think about that. Feminism doesn't educate them. It doesn't give them accountability. It doesn't give them responsibility. It doesn't say, hey, you need to make mature choices and be responsible for your decisions because there are consequences in life. It doesn't say that. Feminism doesn't say that. It just says, oh, you go, girl. Everything's all good. And this is where that whole Aleister Crowley Satanism crap comes in, which is do as thou wilt is the whole of the law, meaning do what you want, which is totally satanic. The most satanic thing in existence is saying do what you want. Oh, just go have fun, do what you want. Why? Because what is that? That's Pinocchio. If you go back to Pinocchio and you look at that young kid who was enticed by Pleasure Island. There's a whole metaphor there in that movie Pinocchio. Do as thou wilt. He did as he wilt, and what happened? He turned into a donkey. He became a slave. He was a slave to that guy who was Satan. That guy was Satan, and he's his little evil angels with a fox and the cat who were recruiting those little guys. Who was recruiting the little children, the little boys, to go to Pleasure Island. And what does that mean? It's all a metaphor of like, sow to your wild oats, right? Sow to the wind, sow to your wild oats. Enjoy your sins, enjoy your pleasure now. And what's the result of that? They turned into donkeys. What does that mean? It means that eventually your sins and your immorality is going to catch up with you, right? And you can't see it in any greater example than modern women, because they are given a key to the kingdom. All the guys want to have sex with them. All the guys want to say, hey, come on my yacht, come on my boat, come check out my mansion, and let's have sex. Come do drugs with me. Come on vacations with me. Come to this hookah lounge. Come to this club. Come to this bar. Woo woo. They got constant invitations. And they're like a kid in a candy shop. They get everything they want at their fingertips. And so, of course, they're going to dress sexy. Of course, they're going to dress suggestive. Of course, they're going to dress so guys look at them, because it benefits them in the short term. Emphasis on short term. Now, I guarantee most people want love someday. Most people kind of want a family someday. I'm not saying everybody wants kids, but I would venture to say most people do kind of want kids. I think so. I think it's more rare for people not want to not want to have kids. I don't want to have kids, but it's for various reasons. If my circumstances were better, I had a lot more money, I was in better health, etc., I probably would want to have kids, because there's something fulfilling in that. There's something kind of glorious about having children in a way. But if you're poor, or you're not in the best health, or you don't have a lot of patience or whatever, or you're just more selfish, you might not want kids. But most women, I think women are more inclined to want kids than men are. I think they both do want kids, but I think women are just more nurturing by nature, and so they're more inclined, right? Most women want kids. I would say more women want kids than men want kids, even though men do want kids as well. So my point is that a lot of these women do not think long term. They don't think 10 years down the road. They don't think 15, 20 years down the road. You're gonna have a life after your hoe phase. You're gonna have a life after your 20s, and they don't think about that, right? And so this is where parenting comes in. This is where proper social norms and social mores are supposed to deter. But what the devil has done is he's used modern feminism to throw all that away, to tear off that safety net of social norms, social mores, in the form of social stigma. Used to be being a slut was really frowned upon. Now they don't care. They're just open about it, because we live in a porn culture. So this young woman admits, which is nice that she's honest, but she's doing it because there's no shame anymore, right? And then as the conversation goes forward, she mentions his dick, and he's like, we want to see it, and I think it just gets really immoral and lewd, right? And this is the conversations that these young people are out here having, and they probably hooked up after this, or it is what it is, and so she is she's just a typical modern woman, and her friends aren't. I remember there was a time when the friends used to be like gatekeepers. The friends used to be like Jiminy Cricket on Pinocchio's shoulder. There you go, Jiminy Cricket, right? Don't do that, watch out, right? Their friends used to kind of look out for them. Now their friends are encouraging it. They're laughing and joking around with her. She thinks it's all funny, because what matters? Sex. What matters? Being hot. What matters? Attention. What matters? The power that I get and feel from guys, knowing guys want to sleep with me, the benefits, the financial benefits. I probably, maybe I'll start an OnlyFans, or maybe I'll do porn, or maybe I'll be an escort low key, or maybe I'll just go to the bar and get free drinks. So all this manipulation that women do using their sexuality, and then somehow they're still oppressed. Somehow they're still victims. Somehow, like, modern feminism will turn it into, a victim narrative somehow, right? Well, even though she's dressing like that, it doesn't give you the right to sexualize her. Well, even though she just admitted that she wanted the attention, that she just admitted that she's sexualizing herself. The guy can see through her little skimpy top, and she's got nipple rings. So what's she doing here? She's covering up, because deep down she's embarrassed, because as human beings we're supposed to have a semblance of shame, and she's embarrassed. Probably in the back of her mind she's like, what if my future husband sees this? What if my parents see this? And look at, there's so many examples of modern porn stars who feel regret. Riley Reid is a great example. Her whole life after porn has been like, she's been very depressed because everybody looks at her as a whore, and they should, because that's what you did. That was your job. You were a professional whore. That's what that is. You're getting paid to have sex. That's what the definition of a whore is. That's not respectable. That's not normal. That's not moral. That's not pure. And you are tainting yourself for your future husband. You're tainting yourself for your future family. I'm sorry to say it, but that's just the truth. And it's not that we want to enforce that on anybody. It's not that we don't want to let anybody have their choice or their opinion or whatever on the matter. The problem is that it's a dangerous behavior. It's a not sustainable behavior, in the sense that you're going to damage yourself, you're going to damage other people in one way or the other, and you are using yourself for your future husband. You're getting used. Let's see, there's something else in here.
Are you dressed like this for yourself, or is it because you want
Beautiful spirits, because this is America.
Well, why are you covering them up now?
Look at that, man. This is America. She thinks it's funny. Okay, yeah, we got freedom to do what we want, but that doesn't give us, you can do what you want, but it doesn't mean there's going to be that doesn't mean there's not going to be consequences for doing what we want, right? So yeah, man. I mean, what do I think about this? This is just a perfect example. This is what this is pretty common. This is pretty average for the modern woman now. This is what's out there. This is what guys have to choose from. These modern women who are just sleeping around, and she's gonna want a boyfriend someday. She's gonna want a husband someday, and she thinks that her past doesn't matter, and that's a lie. Whoever told you that, it's a lie, right? This is what's on the modern behaviors, the modern woman's mind for her behavior. This is how they behave. And this is why guys are walking away from love. This is why guys are walking away from marriage, because men want something that's special. If you are jumping from guy to guy, it's not special anymore. If you are a person with a long past of sexual partners, you were this, she's not an intelligent person. She's not reading books to enhance her knowledge, to become more wise and gain more wisdom, to be more smart, or to improve herself. All she's doing is hitting the gym to look sexy and going and flaunting it. That's it. I mean, that's a very basic life, and so how are you making yourself a better catch for your future husband? Are you a quality person? Do you have generosity? Do you have kindness? Do you have grace and civility? Do you have a magnanimous character where you have a broad way of thinking and you accept people of other cultures and religions? Obviously not the immoral thing, because that's all religions, really all cultures used to repudiate that. They used to just shun it, and no, this is because it if you really think about it, it's a danger to the future of our children. It's a danger to the future of the institution of marriage and family. It threatens culture. It threatens our existence, right? And so what do you have? You have these washed up women who are 30, 35, 40 years old, and they don't have anything to offer, and they don't even know how to offer anything. And then they become more and more into feminism, then they start becoming cat ladies, and they start having the cat lady characteristics. And even if they have a husband, a lot of times they'll just settle for some dude. Most of them are settling. They're not with the guy that they were probably meant to be with. They're not with the guy that probably really loved them or could have loved them in the purest way and given them the best life and relationship, because you have to settle after a certain point, because you are used goods, and quality men are going to walk away, and quality men would rather just stay single than settle with some woman who is just a kind of consolation prize. That's what it is. It's just a consolation prize. At 30 and 35, these women are, a lot of times they don't take care of their bodies, but even if they did take care of their bodies and are still attractive and sexy, it doesn't mean that her mind is not messed up. It doesn't mean her attitude is not messed up. Her way of thinking is not messed up. It doesn't mean she still doesn't have a long history of body counts, right? This is all something that is very, very unattractive to quality men. The type of men that they can get are the simps, the lefty, male feminist, weak kind of guys who have low testosterone, who are pretending to be feminist allies, who are like, yeah, I'll take the used goods. Because if you think about it, what does that mean? It's like, oh, instead of going into this restaurant and buying the most quality food that I can get, it's fresh, it's I'm paying top dollar for it. No, I'm going to hang out behind the dumpster and I'm going to eat the scraps. I'm going to eat the food that the people didn't want, the gristly fat and the burnt stuff and the food that they toss out, right? And you do it for free, right? So what does that mean? It's the same kind of metaphor for what these guys are doing. Instead of, getting the most quality woman when she's in her early 20s and she's healthy, this woman is actually the age that she should get married. But instead of getting married, what's she doing? She's out presenting herself as a hookup, as a jump off, as a woman that you can just sleep with and leave, or just have a friend with benefits relationship with, and it's all good, right? It's in her mind, it's just, well, this is just my fun time, and I'll settle down later. And she doesn't realize that, again, you're used goods. So the type of guy that she's going to be able to get is going to be a weak man. He's going to be a simp. He's going to be an enabler, probably somebody like Adam 22, which is horrible, what he did with his wife, loans her out to other men, does porn with her, whatever. I mean, that's not a normal marriage. That's not a normal relationship. That's not anything righteous or moral or pure. There's nothing about that. And the whole point of marriage is to not do that. So you're not even married. You might as well not even be married. It doesn't make any sense. So like, what a marriage is like, I love you more than anyone else, and we have this exclusive relationship based on purity, based on our bond, based on our commitment to each other, based on fidelity, right? Based on monogamy. And unfortunately, if you're a damaged woman, you're not going to be able to get that with a quality man, because quality men don't want used goods, and that's just the way we're programmed. And it's not just biological in the sense that like, oh, I want my wife to I don't want her having slept with other men because the chance that the child's mind, or the child's mind is greater or whatever. No, it's a moral thing. It's a righteousness thing where like, you look at her. Whenever I look at a woman like this who's loose and sleeps around, it's just a low quality to me. I don't care how attractive she is. Something within me is like, yeah, this woman is sexy, and like that turns me on because physically she's attractive, but it doesn't make me want to like, oh, I want to put a ring on her finger because she's got such great character and she's so pure and moral, and I know she'll really love me, and she's not going to be looking at anyone else. No, these women are on the market. They're products. They're putting themselves out there for men to, the highest bidder, for men to buy them, right? Why would I want something like that? Why would I want a product? I want a human being. I want somebody who is quality. I want someone who is, has a moral foundation, has an inward moral constitution. And you just can't have that if you have a history of sleeping around. So regardless, this woman will have to be someone settling for her, and they don't think of it that way because they're shallow and they're vapid, and all they can see is their own beauty. They can't see past their own nose. They can't see past their own beauty. In their mind, that's all that matters, because that's the shallow type of world that they live in. That's their shallow worldview. No one has instilled character into these women. No one has instilled morals into these women. No one has raise them in such a way where hey, your behavior, good or bad, matters. Morals matter. No one's ever said that to these type of women. It's all about do as thou wilt, which is just Satan. So basically Satan raised her. Satan raised women like this, because you can see it in her attitude, you can see it in her behavior, and it's just, that's not a quality human being. That's not a quality future wife. It's not a quality mother. And I would say this to the guys out there: if you want to get married and you want to have kids, do not choose a woman who has a sexual past, because she's immoral. And what does that mean? It means she's going to raise her children according to the same type of morals. They're going to have a very liberal viewpoint of life, very tolerant viewpoint of life. And if we're talking about righteousness, and when it comes to God doesn't tolerate sin. That's not a part of righteousness. So, and I'm not saying that we don't sin. I'm not saying, he was without sin cast the first stone. Right. Well, I'm a sinner. We're all sinners. But that doesn't mean we revel in it. That doesn't mean we promote it. That doesn't mean we, you have to, if you have a conscience that's working, you have to feel bad about that. You have to, and she's got some shame, because we're all human beings, and human beings are made in the image of God. And what Satan's trying to do is he's trying to warp human beings, and he's trying to turn us not godly. And but there's still because she's covering up her breasts, she's covering up her nipples pierced, because she doesn't want anybody to see. So that's shame. So what did the first thing Adam and Eve do in the Garden of Eden when God came and said, what have you done? They covered themselves. They wanted to hide themselves because they were ashamed. Before, they were naked and they didn't feel any shame because they didn't have sin. Once sin came in, all of a sudden they started to feel shame, because they knew deep down what they were doing was wrong. What they did was wrong. They disobeyed God. So she has shame because and she can't hide that. It's just a physical reaction. It's a mental reaction too, but she covered up because it's shame. Why do people have shame? Because they know they're wrong. They know deep down this is not right. Even though she thinks it's funny and she's mocking and haha, yeah, let's hook up, da da da. She still has some shame when it comes to the camera. She doesn't want people judging her. She doesn't want being exposed. This is why I said at the beginning of this video is that women are always moving in deception. Women are always moving behind the scenes. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about, because women are not advertising it for the most part. But like I said, the last 35 years, they're just openly, blatantly talking about it like it's funny. I don't know, man. It's a weird world that we're living in, but it ain't getting any better. It's getting worse. So there you go. So this is not a quality type of woman, and this is not a quality culture that we live in anymore. And this is what you get. And this is a perfect example. This is this very pretty young woman who could have made a guy very happy in a marriage, who could have been the love of his life, right? That's not interesting to her. She wants to go out and she wants to get random guys. She wants to have random hookups. She wants to get attention. She wants to get thirst traps. She wants to build her ego. She wants to build up her narcissism instead of being a mother. What does that mean? It means her parents failed her. It means her family failed her. It means her friends failed her. It means society failed her. I don't believe we're supposed to be like that. I don't believe we get to that place. Yes, we all have a choice as adults, but I don't believe we get to that place without damage, without some kind of I would use the word interference, right? Because we all kind of are blue pilled at first. We all kind of, I want love, and it's all nice, but then at a certain point, it's just, people get tainted. They get tainted. And this is just the modern culture. This is I hate to say it's female nature, but they want the thirst traps, they want the attention, and it's I think it's nature versus nurture. It's also encouraged in our society. It's not frowned upon. There's no more social stigma. It's very sad. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Appreciate you listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.